Hello, this is Joan, and I'm here to give you a coaching on the French diction for Pierre Passereau's Il est bel et bon. I'm going to be focusing on the modern French diction. There is the 16th century diction that is great, can be lots of fun to do, but this particular video will be about the modern French. I'm actually a native French speaker. That's my mother tongue. I'm originally from Quebec, and I'll be giving you the modern French coaching. Now, saying modern, we still don't necessarily sing the same way we would speak, and so there's some differences that are worth mentioning. So right out of the gate, the first rule to keep in mind for this particular song is to roll the R. So modern French speakers don't necessarily roll the R, but in the song you would want to roll it. And the second thing that we may not do so much when we speak today, but in this song, anytime you see a double consonant, you would want to bounce a little bit on that. So for instance, there's the word commère. Normally I just say commère, but in this song, because of the double consonant, you would bounce commère. The word femme is the same thing. I would just say femme, but in this song, you might want to bounce a little bit and say femme. And the final one is coquette, and I would normally say coquette, but you would bounce on the double T and you'd say coquette. So it's a bit like Italian. It's a bit like saying, we would, in English, we would say pizza, but Italians with the double Z would say pizza. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to first go through the whole song without stopping. I'll just read through it as with the proper diction. So here we go. Il est bel et bon, 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 comme mère, mon mari. Il était deux femmes, toutes d'un pays, disant l'une à l'autre, avez bon mari. Il ne me courrouce, ne me batte aussi. Il fait le ménage, il donne aux poulailles, et je prends mes plaisirs. Comme mère, c'est pour rire, quand les poulailles crient. Coco, coco de petite coquette, qu'est-ce ceci? Okay, now let's break it down a little bit, line by line. But right before we start, I want to point out the importance of not spreading the vowel, specifically on the sound e, as in commère. So oftentimes I see singers go really wide, and it's really not necessary. So in fact, the and the they're all pronounced with this sort of open but not spread positioning of the mouth. So if you think just putting your hand here and going it's only the tongue that moves. In fact, you could add e. So again, there's no need to spread things out when you're doing those different vowels. So the first line, il est bel et bon comme mère mon mari. So you notice that I've rolled the R's on comme mère and mari. So on the first line, we have il est bel et bon comme mère mon mari. So notice that the word comme mère is not a ko, it's an o, but it's not pronounced o, it's more open, ka, comme mère. Il est bel et bon comme mère mon mari. Now the second line, il était deux femmes toutes d'un pays. So this line has about 3 pitfalls. First is the sound e in deux, E. So it's very round. It's very close to the U, U, E, E. When you're doing these vowels, make sure that the tip of your tongue is connected to your bottom teeth. So you don't get this sound, but it's So it's a bit awkward, especially for Anglophones, to make that sound. The other sound is ooh. So I often hear ooh. So you really want to raise that. It feels like it's right up there in your cheekbones. It's very close to an O. So if you think of doing an O and then you put an ooh, just don't drag the ooh down. And the other one is pays. So pays, it's two vowels and there's no y sound. It's not pays. There's not a y sound. It's pays, pays. So there's nothing in between. So here we go. Il était deux femmes toutes d'un pays. Il était deux femmes toutes d'un pays. The third line is a bit more simple. Disant l'une à l'autre avait bon mari. Disant l'une à l'autre avait bon mari. So the new sound that's introduced here is ah. So it's like an ah, but it's nasalized a little bit. Ah. The fourth line. Here we have a double consonant on the R, but we don't bounce. It's far too awkward, so it's just rolled R. And at the end, between the word pas and aussi, we have to elide them. We have to do the liaison, and so we'll connect the T to the word that follows, battouci. But I'll do it one time very separate. Il ne me courrouce ne me bat aussi. So this time I didn't tie them, but I will tie them this time around. But before I repeat this phrase, you have a lot of sound. So just make sure your lips, your mouth position really doesn't move all that much, so you can stay in that place. Il ne me courrouce ne me bat aussi. Okay, we'll do the next two lines back to back. Il fait le ménage, il donne au poulaille. So it's nice to have that accent on ménage, poulaille. Now on the word poulaille, it's like saying aïe, 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 poulaille. You have the oo and then you have this I sound. We also elide the donne-au, donne-au poulaille. Il fait le ménage, il donne au poulaille. I forgot to elide them this time, so I'm going to repeat that. Il fait le ménage, il donne au poulaille. And now the last bit of that section, et je prends mes plaisirs. Now, mes plaisirs, be very careful not to do mes plaisirs, to really spread that. It's not a very strong big wide sound. And in some instances in the song, it's actually quite low in the range. So in that instance, you would put a bit of an A sound, mes plaisirs, especially when you're singing lower, so that you're not spreading out your sound and losing resonance. So you would simply do et je prends mes plaisirs or mes plaisirs. So see how I darken that a little bit. Mes plaisirs, mes plaisirs. It's very subtle. But what you don't want to do is go mes plaisirs. You don't want that too dark. So it's just finding that sweet spot. The word prend, so it's very close to an ah sound again. It's like disant, prend. It's the same sound. And we're almost there. We're almost done. So 2 more lines. Commère, c'est pour rire quand les poulailles crient. Commère, c'est pour rire quand les poulailles crient. So all these sounds, you've actually done them already. Commère, c'est. So it's not c'est, but c'est pour rire quand. Again, that ah sound, very ah, but just a bit nasalized. Les poulailles crient. And now the final line of the song is where the choir starts to sound like chickens, des poulailles. So that's the fun part of this song, is when you get to this bit. It's really a great effect. So you have co repeated a number of times, co, which is what sounds like chickens, co de, and then petite, coquette. So that word coquette, it's not coquette, but it's coquette, coquette. Que ceci. Co, de, petite, coquette, que ceci. Okay, so we've gone through all the lyrics separately, and now I'm going to read it through, right through rhythmically with the bounce of the text. And this is a really good exercise to do separate from the music. It's always good in these kinds of songs to really get to know your words separate from the music and see how the words have their own rhythms and how it might have actually been reflected in the song and how you can make the words come alive in the song. So it's always good practice to learn your words completely in isolation, completely separate from your music, and then you can see how it actually fits in with the song. So here we go. Il est bel et bon, bon, comme mère, mon mari. Il était 2 femmes, toutes d'un pays, disant l'une à l'autre, Ave bon mari. Il ne me courrouce, ne me bat aussi. Il fait le ménage, il donne aux poulailles, et je prends mes plaisirs. Comme mère, c'est pour rire, quand les poulailles crient. Coco, de petite coquette, qu'est-ce ceci?